In a world where 85% of men remain oblivious to the subtle, yet crucial signs of emotional distance in their relationships, often so engrossed in their daily routines that they overlook the telltale clues that could save them significant heartache and wasted time, it's imperative not only to discern these indicators, but also to cultivate the mental fortitude to confront them head-on without hesitation. Not with the intent of creating paranoia or suspicion, but with the purpose of proactively safeguarding oneself from investing in a relationship that's already subtly, and perhaps unknowingly, drifting apart. This involves moving beyond merely recognizing the symptoms. It requires developing the mindset of an individual who is never caught off guard, fully equipped to identify key phrases that signal an emotional disconnect, understand the underlying psychological reasons that drive these behaviors, and, most importantly, maintain unwavering control over their own reactions in any given situation, ultimately ensuring that they can navigate each encounter with unshakable confidence and reclaim their power. As the psychological truth behind emotional distance is that it rarely starts with physical actions, but begins subtly and gradually in the mind. And what most people overlook is that emotional distancing is a process, not a sudden decision, often starting with small steps, an innocent text, an inside joke with a coworker, or a long conversation with an old friend. And the reason most men miss these early signs is that they're conditioned to dismiss subtle changes, and this ignorant dismissing of early stages sets you up to be caught off guard. Where for many women, emotional distancing starts when they feel neglected or unfulfilled and might start seeking connection elsewhere. It's a subtle erosion often missed by men caught in the whirlwind of their daily lives. A slow fade rather than a sudden break, akin to a plant slowly dying from lack of water, unheeded until it's too late, often causing the man to have to ask the question, so understands me so well, which might sound harmless, but it's actually a sign of emotional disconnection. Relationships thrive on connection, and if she starts seeking that connection outside of you, it's a growing issue where that bond becomes a growing problem as it signals an emotional gap in your relationship with her. To fail to see this means missing out on chances to reconnect as a couple and improve intimacy. In effect, if your connection is strong, you'll be her primary confidant, and if she's finding that connection with someone else, it's time to address it or reconsider the relationship with a calm, straightforward response. And you can show that you're perceptive and won't be sidelined with such a response. And also realize that it is about self-respect. So don't let anyone compromise your peace or make you feel secondary to someone else. And such a moment is often followed by that phrase, it's just friends, a phrase to watch out for as getting it wrong. We all need friends, and having a social life outside of a relationship is healthy. However, just friends can quickly turn into a gray area when boundaries aren't respected. And unfortunately, the phrase just friends has become one of the most common excuses for emotional disconnection, and one that signals that what you think you had may not be as sound as you believe it to be. To be clear, though, being conscious of these dynamics doesn't justify paranoia or control. Instead, the goal is awareness and openness to communication with your partner to ensure healthy boundaries for both individuals. As you begin to realize that your connection might be slipping or that a friend might be closer to her than you had hoped, what you should do is stay confident and don't let jealousy cloud your judgment. If she consistently prioritizes this friend, step back and let her actions reveal the truth, as true confidence doesn't mean demanding answers. It means being perceptive enough to read the situation. Remember, a partner who values the relationship will be open about her friendships and won't hide things. If she's evasive or dismissive, it's a sign of deeper issues, which also signals that she's going through something, but you're not the one she chooses to share it with. So this serves to show, through your actions, that you won't settle for being second. What you can do here is make plans for yourself that you can use to show that her presence in your life is a bonus, not a requirement. The most crucial aspect of this is maintaining composure. Responding with accusations or jealous outbursts will only validate her need for space and push her further away. Instead, demonstrate that you are secure in yourself, that you have a life and interests outside of the relationship, and that you are not dependent on her for your happiness. This will send a powerful message that you are not easily manipulated, and it will force her to reevaluate her actions. Also, maintain the focus on the present, as when she sees that you're not fixating on the past or worrying about the future, you display maturity and stability. It shows that you're capable of handling the situation with grace, which is a quality that's attractive and reassuring. Moreover, make sure not to fall into the trap of overthinking, which can amplify your fears and lead to irrational behavior. Trust your gut, but also rely on facts and observations. Don't let your imagination run wild, creating scenarios that may not be based in reality. Maintaining a balanced perspective will help you make informed decisions and avoid unnecessary drama. In this vein, it's also important to remember to prioritize self-care, even when faced with relationship challenges. Maintaining your physical and mental health will give you the strength and clarity to navigate the situation effectively. Make time for exercise, healthy eating, and relaxation techniques. Engaging in activities that bring you joy and fulfillment will remind you of your worth and empower you to make decisions that are in your best interest. This display of self-care is often followed by another phrase, which you should pay great attention to, which is the classic, "I need more space." Space in a relationship can be healthy, but when it's suddenly requested, it may signal emotional or physical distance. It's often a subtle way to test boundaries and gauge how much freedom she can take without resistance. And if this comes out of nowhere, it's worth taking a closer look. Maybe she starts reconnecting with old friends, picking up new hobbies that don't include you, or pulling away in small ways. While space itself isn't bad, an abrupt need for it can indicate deeper issues, and most men's initial response is to panic, feeling like they did something wrong. However, you must resist the urge to panic or beg for answers, giving her the space she asks for, but making it clear that your self-respect comes first. Don't be the guy waiting anxiously for her to come back. Instead, use this time to focus on your own goals, fitness, career, or expanding your social life. This shows her that you have a fulfilling life beyond a relationship and reinforces your self-worth. Also, this might be a good time to set practical moves, such as letting her have her space, but don't put your life on hold, and to start making plans and working on yourself, letting her wonder what you're up to. This isn't about playing games, it's about protecting your value. If she truly cares, she'll notice your independence and see that her request for space hasn't diminished your self-worth. If she doesn't return, it means her intentions were never aligned with yours. To note that a woman who values a relationship won't test the limits of your patience unnecessarily. So you must stand firm and don't sacrifice your peace for someone unsure of their place in your life, as self-respect isn't about control. It's knowing when to step back. While space is a healthy request to want, what may come about from it is that "I'm working late," as this is a classic phrase that can be completely innocent, but when used frequently without transparency, it can raise concerns. Initially, it's understandable. Today's world is demanding, and late nights happen. But if it becomes a pattern paired with vague explanations, it's time to pay attention. And though this might seem reasonable, pay attention to her actions. When she comes home, is she distant, uninterested, or glued to her phone? Even the busiest person can spare a few moments for someone they care about. If work consistently takes precedence and is coupled with a lack of transparency or changes in behavior, don't ignore it, and remember that open communication is essential in any relationship, and patterns of avoidance or secrecy can signal deeper issues. If she's truly invested, she'll find ways to maintain that connection with you regardless of how busy life gets. So the job becomes unavailable if it's not just her job keeping her occupied, it's her shifting priorities, and so pay attention to patterns. But to also note that this isn't about confronting her over every small thing. It's about recognizing when things don't add up. If she's suddenly working late all the time, ask yourself whether this is typical behavior or something new. A trustworthy partner will respect you enough to communicate openly. If she becomes defensive or secretive, that's not on you. That's on her. There's a fine line that exists here, as it is not about setting an ultimatum for a person you've been with, but noting if there's a meaningful change that makes you feel like you're not a part of her life anymore. And the reason why this can hurt you is simple: the feeling that you are on your own in navigating this challenge. However, in moments where it feels like you might not be able to come to terms with the changes that are occurring, it's also important to be cognizant of those times in a relationship where maybe time apart will help. This is one of the hardest phrases for any partner to hear, because when someone suggests a break, they're often signaling a desire to explore their options while keeping the safety net of the relationship. It's a way of keeping you on standby while they figure out what they really want. In these moments, don't get caught up with blame, and instead, assess if things can be realistically resolved. If she values you, she'll come back with renewed commitment. If she doesn't, then you've saved yourself time and heartache, and it is imperative to remember that you are not a backup plan. If she's not fully invested, it's better to know now so you can stand firm, respect yourself, and don't let anyone make you feel like an option. Take action immediately, and be sure to show that you recognize her sentiments, as to not doing so will just make you look desperate. It's also important that this isn't mistaken with revenge or trying to get back at your partner. Instead, view it as a chance to look into things from your side and see where you can improve. As this transition occurs, or if the relationship is not what you envision it to be, remember that "you deserve better than me" may also be a phrase that emerges, and though it may sound like a compliment, it's often a cover for guilt or uncertainty. When someone feels they're not fully committed or they're hiding something, they might frame it as an issue with their worthiness rather than their actions. It's a way of saying, "I'm not fully invested, but I don't want to be the one to end things." Think about it. Why would someone who values you suggest that you deserve better? If they truly cared about the relationship, they'd be working to make it better, not hinting that you should look elsewhere. Therefore, this phrase is often a subtle exit strategy, a way to let go without taking responsibility. So don't let this guilt-driven statement shake your confidence. But when you hear "you deserve better," recognize it for what it is, a sign that they're not fully committed. Instead, show them that you know your own worth, which is done most effectively when you respond with something like, "I know what I deserve, and I deserve someone who's fully committed." The key is not to get drawn into their self-doubt or guilt. Stay firm, stay grounded, and remember that you deserve someone who values and respects you, as a high-value person knows their worth and won't settle for someone who's not fully invested. By standing your ground, you send a clear message that your self-worth is non-negotiable. But sometimes, the most telling signals aren't spoken at all, but instead, nonverbal signs of emotional detachment is at play. And this is what you should be paying attention to, because body language, tone of voice, and subtle changes in behavior can speak volumes when someone is emotionally checking out. You'll notice shifts in how they interact with you. Maybe they avoid eye contact, speak in a flat tone, or seem distracted. These aren't coincidences. They're signs of emotional distance. You should think back to the last time you were together, and she seemed more interested in her phone than in the conversation, or perhaps she used to lean in close when you talked, but now she sits back, crosses her arms, or avoids physical touch altogether. These aren't minor changes. They're signals that something has shifted, and so it becomes a question of how you should handle this. Well, instead of confronting her over every little change, stay observant without giving away that you've noticed. Acknowledge the shifts internally, but don't let them shake your confidence. And you need to accept that actions often reveal intentions long before words do. As such, your focus should not be on calling them out, but on understanding why these behaviors have been brought into play, and it is helpful to also remember your own self-worth as you work to evaluate that action and ask yourself if it's something you're willing to deal with or would like to work with your partner to fix. All of this ties back into what is your ultimate objective, because ultimately you must be in control of this process, which at times is hard to see when it might feel like a betrayal is at play. So you must focus on managing emotions without losing control. One of the biggest challenges when facing signs of potential betrayal. Betrayal hurts, and it's natural to feel anger, insecurity, and frustration. But letting emotions control your reactions is a surefire way to lose power. A person who can't control their reactions is easy to manipulate and remains at the mercy of external circumstances. And while anger, jealousy, and insecurity are normal, especially when something feels wrong in a relationship, there's a key difference between average people and those who are confident and self-assured. assured individuals feel these emotions but don't let them dictate their actions. They don't allow temporary feelings to erode their sense of self-worth or peace of mind. Remember, practice emotional discipline to recognize jealousy or anger when it arises, but don't let it control you. Use it as a signal to refocus on yourself, on your goals, fitness, or financial growth. Emotions are energy, and you have the power to channel that energy to strengthen yourself instead of letting it weaken you. As a person who controls their emotions cannot be easily shaken or manipulated. When you stay calm and composed, you send a powerful message, and you're not dependent on anyone's validation for peace of mind. This kind of confidence is magnetic, and what all of this can eventually lead to is not only building resilience, but building resilience and self-empowerment beyond infidelity. Every challenge, especially one as personal as infidelity, is an opportunity to build resilience. Life isn't about avoiding difficulties. It's about how you face them and emerge stronger. Relationships can reveal red flags and painful truths, but these experiences can also be valuable lessons. They teach you what you need to work on, what's truly important, and most importantly, they reveal your inner strength. To note that resilience isn't just about surviving. It's about using setbacks as fuel to become stronger and more self-aware, and it is this inner strength and resilience that will ensure a brighter and more fulfilling life, no matter who you may choose to spend it with. With this approach in mind, when you recognize red flags, face betrayal, or feel the pain of an ending relationship, it's time to double down on yourself. Use these experiences to sharpen your goals, clarify your values, and build the life you want, and not waste energy on anger or resentment as those emotions hold you back. Instead, channel your energy into growth and take control of your story. You notice your partner distancing herself. Maybe she's spending more time with friends or is vague about her plans. Your first instinct might be to confront her or demand answers, but reacting impulsively rarely brings the outcome you want. Instead, it can confirm any doubts she might have about your confidence, which could push her further away. It becomes important to channel that energy to strengthen yourself instead of letting it weaken you, as well as acknowledge that to invest in personal development such as fitness, advancing your career, or learning new skills will make you that much stronger, and the goal is to let your partner see that you're not just someone who can handle setbacks, but someone who uses every experience to become stronger. As you emerge from this chapter, it's important to recognize the lessons learned, the resilience you've cultivated, and the newfound sense of self-worth you possess. This is not just about surviving a difficult relationship. It's about thriving as an individual, about creating a life that is aligned with your values and fueled by your passions. You also can help the process move forward if you acknowledge your emotions. It's okay to feel hurt, angry, or confused. Don't suppress these emotions, but allow yourself to process them in a healthy way. Journaling, talking to a trusted friend, or seeking professional help can be beneficial. Forgive yourself. Don't blame yourself for the relationship ending or for any mistakes you may have made. Forgiveness is essential for moving forward. Focus on what you've learned and how you can grow from the experience. Define your values. What qualities do you want in a partner? What are your non-negotiables? Clarifying your values will help you make better choices in future relationships. Prioritize your well-being. Make time for activities that bring you joy and promote your physical and mental health. Exercise, meditation, spending time in nature, and pursuing your hobbies can help you recharge and rebuild your confidence. Set new goals. Channel your energy into creating a future that excites you. Set goals that are aligned with your values and passions, and take small steps each day to move towards them. Surround yourself with positive influences. Spend time with people who support and uplift you. Avoid negative or draining relationships. Create a positive and supportive environment that fosters your growth and well-being. Learn to trust your intuition. Pay attention to your gut feelings. Your intuition can often guide you towards healthy choices and away from harmful situations. The more you trust your intuition, the more confident you will become in your ability to make sound decisions. Practice self-compassion. Be kind to yourself, especially during difficult times. Treat yourself with the same understanding and compassion that you would offer a friend. Remember that everyone makes mistakes and experiences setbacks. Self-compassion will help you build resilience and maintain a positive self-image. Celebrate your strengths. Focus on what you do well. Acknowledge your achievements and celebrate your positive qualities. The more you appreciate your strengths, the more confident you will become in your abilities. Believe in yourself. This is the most important step. Believe that you are worthy of love, respect, and happiness. Trust in your ability to create a fulfilling and meaningful life. As you cultivate self-belief, you will attract positive experiences and relationships into your life. This transformation, this understanding of self, this recognition of patterns, and this resolve and strength will only continue if it is constantly being sought out, as every relationship is a choice, and you deserve someone who values, respects, and is fully committed to you, so you can't settle for anything less. Navigating relationships can be challenging, and recognizing the signs of trouble is crucial to protecting your peace and well-being. We must recognize, then, that the ability to set boundaries and maintain a vision of the values in your partnership is an important part of building relationships with strength, and the understanding of this reality builds confidence. Also know that your journey is your own, and you have the power to shape it with strength, dignity, and unwavering self-respect.